Moving on to silver oxide. So what happens in this silver oxide is, in the preparation part structure, you know that Ag and then Ag2O is nothing but Ag and then bond and then OO you will get. 1 second, wait, I will write and then show. So what happens in this structure, it is like O and then you will get Ag and then again Ag. Okay, that is your Ag2O. Alright, so moving on to preparation part, if you will see the preparation, then if you will see the preparation, okay, so moving on to preparation, then first we'll take the Ag2O, and then if we will do the dissociation reaction, at that time what we will get, 2Ag plus silver ion and then NO2 minus you will get. Okay, and then moving on to what it does actually. So it is the mild oxidizing agent. It will oxidize the aldehydes to the carboxylic acids. Alright, and then this reagent is prepared by the mixing of the solution of the AgNO3 silver nitrate with the excess of NaOH, which is also known as the Tollens reagent. Remember, this Tollens reagent we will use for the confirmatory test of the carbonyl compounds. Okay, so we will do the carbohydrates test, right, for checking the presence of an aldehydes and ketones. For that we will use this is reagent silver nitrate test is or the Tollens reagent test. So moving on to the reaction part, if you will see here in the reaction, and here we are taking the aldehyde, and then if we are treating it with the silver oxide, this gets converted into the carboxylic acid. And remember the next slide, if you will go through the mechanism, this mechanism is basically, it is based on the single electron transfer. Alright, so here we are taking the 2Ag plus, right, so 1 Ag plus is reacting over here and one more over here. So what happens, you know that how the single electron transfer reaction takes place. So Ag plus, if it goes to the Ag ground state, one electron is getting, one electron comes over here, so the attack of one electron towards the carbonyl carbon. Okay, when this goes and attacks, at that time you know that one bond is having the two electrons, one bond consists of pair of electrons. So one electron, when it goes and shifts over here, there is a homolytic cleavage, one radical formation will takes place over the oxygen atom, and one more which is present, one more electron, that is one radical, will combine with one of the electron and it will make it as a positive charge. Okay, once it will make a positive charge with the cleavage of, here you are getting Ag ground state, Ag0. Okay, and then there is an attack of a nucleophile, which is NaOH we are taking over there, right, so that is your base. The attack of the base OH minus will takes place to the carbanion, carbocation. So the OH minus will go and attack to the carbocation and then you will get back this structure. Alright, and then there is a homolytic cleavage between the carbon and the hydrogen bond and there is a formation of one of the radical over here. First the radical gets formed over here, and then when this breaks, at that time what happens, you will get one radical towards this side and then one will cleave out with the hydrogen. Okay, H radical will get cleaved out, and then if you will see, if that radical will get combined, and if this radical, whatever the carbon radical will be there, if that will get combined, and so what happens here is, this radical will go and combine with this oxygen radical and it will make, one second, first this carbon radical will be there, which is over here, and then this oxygen radical will combine with the hydrogen radical. Okay, so this radical combines with the hydrogen radical to form the OH. So you are getting R C radical, OH, bond OH, OH. Alright, and then again there is the attack of the base NaOH. So OH minus will go abstract the proton, and there is this bond shifts, make it as a negative charge. That is your radical anion formation takes place. Once the radical anion formation takes place, there is an attack of one more of the silver, okay, Ag plus. So what happens here, again one of the electron will go attack to the carbon free radical, and then meanwhile there is a shifting of this ion over here, and this carbon gets satisfied, and then this bond this charge shifts here, make it as a double bond on, and then you will generate the carboxylic acid. Okay, so after the formation of the carboxylic acid, there is the again attack of the NaOH. Why we are doing the base over here, why we are attacking the base? Because we are taking more of the excess of NaOH over there. Okay, so there is attack of the OH minus, again it will abstract the proton, and it will generate the carboxylate ion. Once it will abstract the proton and it will cleave out as the water, this bond shifts, make it as the O minus with the generation of the carboxylate ion, and again if we will do the hydrolysis step, then what happens, again this O minus will again abstract the proton from H3O plus, and with the cleavage of the water molecule you will get back your carboxylic acid. This is the mechanism which you have to do. Okay, one more mechanism is there wherein you can go through that also. In that it is very simple, but they are not showing the attack of the electrons over there. Okay, so I didn't feel that is right, so this is the easy and it is good, like this is only most preferably it is used. So moving on to next, here are some examples, you have to solve it. Moving on to DMSO. DMSO is nothing but it is dimethyl sulfoxides. You know that, right? So this DMSO, for this DMSO oxidations, the presence of the activator is must. So there are certain three best activators wherein the DMSO, when it is treated with the DCC, that is your dicyclohexyl thiourea, if dicyclohexyl urea, and then if it is treated dicyclohexyl urea, one second, sorry, dicyclohexyl carbodimide, I got confused. Dicyclohexyl carbodimide, and when it is treated with that, at that time what happens, you will have to do the reaction with the Moffat's oxidation. Moffat's oxidation, it is nothing but it is the combination of DMSO and DCC. When this combination, if you will see, that is your Moffat's oxidation, and this is also one of the best activator, which is DMSO plus the acetic anhydride. This we are not going to study, which is not there in your syllabus. And then again the next oxidation, which is your Swann's oxidation, an important exam point of view. DMSO, when it is treated with the oxalyl chloride. Okay, this is your oxalyl chloride or trifluoroanhydride. Okay, trifluoroacetic anhydride. And then moving on to here, if you will see the Moffatt oxidation, first we'll move on to Moffatt oxidation, and then we'll move on to Swann oxidation, and there is certain examples given over there. Okay, so let's see the DMSO. DMSO is nothing but it is the dimethyl sulfoxide. You can see the structure over here. Dimethyl, L2 of the methyl groups are attached to the sulfoxide. Okay, and then DCC, it is the dicyclohexyl carbodimide. This is your dicyclohexyl groups attached to the carbodimide, right? And then moving on to next, what are the function, what it does? So it is basically, it will oxidize the alcohol groups into the carbonyl compound in presence of this reagents, that is in presence of DMSO or DCC, and then in presence of an acid catalyst, that is your H3PO4 or chloroacetic acid. Okay, so in presence of this whole of the reagents, this alcohol is getting converted into the carbonyl compounds. Alright, then moving on to reaction, if we'll move on to reaction, you can see we are taking an alcohol in presence of whole of DMSO DCCD acid catalyst is chloroacetic acid. We are getting the carbonyl compounds, okay, with the cleavage of your dicyclohexyl urea and then dimethyl sulfide. In the mechanism part, if we are taking the DCC, first we have to take the DCC, we are activating the nitrogen atoms and then we are treating it with the DMSO. Also, after getting our stable molecule, we are treating it with the substrate. Okay, so let's begin with the mechanism. So in the mechanism, we are taking the DCC. In the DCC structure, you are having nitrogen atom which is having lone pair of electrons. The attack of this lone pair of electron on to the from the nitrogen atom to the hydrogen. Okay, it is abstracting the proton on, and then once it will abstract the proton, the nitrogen will gain the positive charge. That is, you are having the 4 bonds over here. Okay, here you have to put 1 bond on, and then once you are getting this structure, ammonium ion is generated. There is the attack of your DMSO. Okay, this sulfonyl group which is present over here, this bond goes and attack to the carbon atom, and then there is a neutralization of the positive charge between this carbon and the nitrogen double bond which is present over here, right? This bond shifts, it will neutralize the positive charge of your nitrogen atom, and then you will get back this structure. And once you will get your structure, this adduct formation, and the nitrogen, the next nitrogen which is adjacent to the carbon atom towards your left side, right? So which is having a lone pair of electron, that will abstract the proton again, and it will become as the nitrogen will gain a positive charge. Okay, after gaining a positive charge, what happens here is once it will gain the positive charge, and then the attack of the substrate takes place. Substrate is nothing but an alcohol, right? The alcohol which is having a lone pair of electron in the oxygen atom will go and attack to the sulfur atom. Once it will go and attack to the sulfur atom, this bond shifts over here. Okay, and then meanwhile there is a neutralization of positive charge from this bond. Okay, once it will get neutralized, at that time what happens, you will generate one sulfoxonium ion formation over here. After the formation of the sulfoxonium ion with the cleavage of your dicyclohexyl urea, and then what happens, this bond shifts over here. Okay, the hydrogen bond, carbon and the hydrogen bond, this bond shifts over here. Meanwhile there is a cleavage of this bond, and then there is a cleavage of your dimethyl sulfide. Okay, and then you are getting back your ketone molecule. Alright, so what you are taking, first you are taking the DCC, and then you are doing the activation of your nitrogen atom, and then you are attacking the DMSO. Once you are attacking the DMSO, and there is a generation of your sulfoxonium ions over here, and then you will attack the substrate molecule. Okay, once you will attack the substrate molecule, and then there is a cleavage of your dicyclohexyl urea, and once you will get cleaved with one of the moiety, and then with the whole of the reaction, and there is a cleavage of one of your dimethyl sulfide in the formation of your ketones, carbonyl compound. And then moving on to here, limitation. What is the limitations? Okay, so here obtaining the pure carbonyl compounds from whatever the reaction mixture we are taking, from that it is not very easy to get back our pure product. Okay, it is very difficult since we are getting the dye product as our dicyclohexyl urea. So we can't separate this and that removal is not that much easier. Okay, and then here this reaction is very expensive, oxidation reaction is very expensive if since we are using the starting material in the large quantity, and it is also used for the synthesis of your natural products and nucleic acids. So moving on to Swern oxidation, and here in the Swern oxidation what happens here is if you will see the Swern oxidation, there is two reagents again. Okay, so one reagent is your DMSO, and the another reagent is your oxalyl chloride. Okay, or instead of oxalyl chloride you can also use the trifluoro acetic anhydride. Okay, so here you write or. Okay, All right. So if you will see here, we are taking the DMSO and oxalyl chloride or trifluoroacetic anhydride in presence of the base such as triethyl amine. And then moving on to mechanism part. In this mechanism, first we are taking the DMSO and then we are treating it with the oxalyl chloride. Once we are treating it with the oxalyl chloride, at this bond from the DMSO will go and attack to the carbonyl compound of your oxalyl chloride. Okay, so carbonyl compound, that is a carbon atom, and meanwhile what happens here is there is a cleavage of one of the chlorine atom. So one of the chlorine atom gets cleaved out, and this structure you will get, that is your adduct formation. Sulfoxonium ion is forming over here, and then you have to write like this. Okay, and then what happens, there is an intramolecular reaction. This is like a complex formation, Cl minus. Okay, and then this Cl minus will again act as a nucleophile. It will go and attack to the sulfur atom. Okay, so once it will go and attack to the sulfur atom, this bond on which is present between the sulfur and the oxygen will shift over here, and then this again shifts towards the carbon atom, and this whole of the moiety, that is your CO2 and the CO, will get cleaved out. That is your carbon monoxide and the carbon dioxide gets cleaved out with the formation of your this adduct. Okay, chlorine is not getting cleaved out. If it is getting cleaved out, it is forming the complex formation. Okay, so here we are showing the arrow, that is you are getting cleaved out and there is a formation of your complex molecule. And then there is the attack of your substrate, that is your alcohol, or the oxygen which is present in the alcohol will go and attack to the sulfur atom. Okay, meanwhile there is a hydride cleavage, hydrogen gets cleaved out in the form of HCl. So this goes and attacks to the sulfur atom, and then there is a cleavage of your Cl, that is the H plus and Cl minus will go out as the HCl. This you can write it as this structure also. And then after the cleavage of the HCl, you are getting back this adduct. Okay, and then what happens here is this Cl minus is there, right? So that Cl minus which is sitting over there will go and bind to the CH3. So you are getting back this structure. Alright, understanding? So once this is getting cleaved out, at that time you are getting this structure, right? So this methyl atom will again does the like intramolecular reaction. It will take the Cl minus, and then there is the attack of the triethylamine. Okay, so this triethylamine, the nitrogen atom of the triethylamine, and which is your base, the attack of the lone pair of electron of the nitrogen and to the it will abstract the proton from the methyl atom. Okay, so one of the abstraction of the hydrogen atom from your methyl, and there is a generation of the carbon ion over here. The carbon ion is generated, and there is a cleavage of your or whole of this moiety, like E3N NH plus Cl minus. This is also getting cleaved out. So this can be dissolved in water molecule. Okay, so after that one, there is a generation of your carbon ion. Once the carbon ion is generated, at that time what happens, the carbon ion will abstract the proton within the reaction. Okay, within the compound it will abstract the proton, and meanwhile this bond shifts and make it as the carbonyl compound, double bond, new one more bond will come, that is your double bond is generated, and there is a cleavage of your dimethyl sulfide. Okay, this is your, with the formation of your carbonyl compound, that is your ketone molecule. Understood? Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask. And here if we'll move on to the limitation part, so in the limitation it is the exothermic oxidation, and then in the cold condition only we should do. In the predict the product you have to solve this and you have to send me the answers. So you can see here it is like mixture of your Swern and the Moffat's oxidation. You have to see the reagents and then you have to do the conversion of this substrate molecules. Okay, these are few examples in the application part. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box. Like and subscribe.